Vladimir Lenin. Early life and education. 1. Family background. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, later known as Lenin, was born on April 22, 1870, in the city of Simbirsk, now called Ulyanovsk, in central Russia. He was the third of 6 children in a middle-class family. His father, Ilya Ulyanov, was a high-ranking government official and a prominent member of the local community. His mother, Maria Alexandrovna Ulyanova, was well-educated and deeply religious. The Ulyanov family was known for their liberal views and their commitment to social justice. 2. Early education. Lenin received his early education at home from his mother, who taught him to read and write in both Russian and German. He was a bright student and showed a keen interest in history and literature. In 1878, Lenin's older brother, Alexander, was executed for plotting to assassinate Tsar Alexander III. This event had a profound impact on Lenin's political views and his determination to fight against the Tsarist regime. 3. University education. In 1887, Lenin enrolled at Kazan University to study law. While at university, he became involved in radical political groups and was expelled for his involvement in student protests. Lenin continued his studies at home and passed his law exams in 1891. 4. Early career. After finishing his studies, Lenin began his career as a lawyer in Samara. However, he quickly became disillusioned with the legal profession and turned his attention to revolutionary politics. In 1895, he traveled to St. Petersburg and became involved with the Marxist group known as the League of Struggle for the Emancipation of the Working Class. 5. Influences. Lenin was deeply influenced by the writings of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, as well as by the Russian revolutionary tradition. He was particularly drawn to the idea of a Vanguard Party, which he believed was necessary to lead the working class in its struggle for socialism. 6. Personal life. Lenin was a private person and did not share much about his personal life. However, it is known that he married Nadezhda Krupskaya, a fellow revolutionary, in 1898. The couple remained married until Lenin's death in 1924. They did not have any children. Lenin suffered from several health problems throughout his life, including migraines and bouts of depression. Political activism and Marxist theory. 1. Marxist theory. Lenin's political beliefs were deeply influenced by Marxist theory, which he studied extensively during his university years. He believed that capitalism was a fundamentally exploitative system that needed to be overthrown in order to create a classless society based on the principles of socialism. 2. Formation of the Bolshevik Party. In 1903, the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party split into 2 factions, the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. Lenin played a key role in the formation of the Bolshevik Party, which was committed to revolutionary action and the establishment of a socialist government in Russia. 3. Newspaper editor. In 1912, Lenin became the editor of the Bolshevik Party's newspaper, Pravda. He used the newspaper as a platform to promote Bolshevik ideas and to criticize the policies of the Tsarist government. 4. Imperialism. Lenin's understanding of imperialism was a crucial aspect of his Marxist theory. He argued that imperialism was the highest stage of capitalism and that it was responsible for the exploitation of colonies and the intensification of international rivalries. This idea had a significant impact on the development of Marxist theory in the 20th century. 5. April Theses. In April 1917, Lenin returned to Russia from exile in Switzerland and delivered a series of speeches, known as the April Theses. In these speeches, he called for an end to the war, the transfer of power to the Soviets, and the establishment of a socialist government. 6. Theory of Vanguard Party. One of Lenin's most important contributions to Marxist theory was his concept of the Vanguard Party. He believed that the working class was not capable of developing a revolutionary consciousness on its own and that a small, disciplined party of professional revolutionaries was necessary to lead the struggle for socialism. This idea was controversial within Marxist circles but had a significant impact on the development of socialist movements around the world. Revolution of 1905 and exile. 1. Revolution of 1905. The Revolution of 1905 was a mass uprising against the Tsarist government that took place in response to a series of social, economic, and political grievances. Lenin played an important role in the revolution, advocating for the overthrow of the Tsarist regime and the establishment of a socialist government. 2. Bloody Sunday. One of the key events that sparked the revolution of 1905 was the massacre of peaceful demonstrators by the Tsar's troops on January 22, 1905, known as Bloody Sunday. This event galvanized opposition to the Tsarist regime and led to widespread protests and strikes. 3. Creation of the Soviet. During the revolution of 1905, workers and peasants formed councils, known as Soviets, to coordinate their activities and advance their demands. Lenin believed that the Soviets were an important tool for revolutionary action and advocated for their use in future struggles. 4. Exile. After the suppression of the revolution of 1905, Lenin was forced to flee Russia and went into exile in Switzerland. He continued to work for the Bolshevik Party from abroad, using his writing and speaking skills to promote revolutionary ideas. 5. Bolshevik Faction. While in exile, Lenin worked to build support for the Bolshevik faction within the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party. He believed that the Bolsheviks were the only group capable of leading a successful revolution and establishing a socialist government in Russia. 6. Impact on Lenin's thought. Lenin's experience during the Revolution of 1905 and his subsequent exile had a significant impact on his political thought. He became more committed to the idea of revolutionary action and more skeptical of parliamentary democracy as a means of achieving socialist goals. He also developed a more nuanced understanding of the role of the peasantry in the revolutionary struggle. Return to Russia and the Bolshevik Revolution. 1. Return to Russia. Lenin returned to Russia in April 1917, after spending years in exile in Europe. His return was made possible by the February Revolution, which had overthrown the Tsarist regime and established a provisional government. 2. April Theses. Upon his return, Lenin delivered a series of speeches, known as the April Theses, in which he called for the transfer of power to the Soviets and the establishment of a socialist government. These speeches helped to galvanize support for the Bolshevik Party. 3. Bolshevik Revolution. On October 25, 1917, the Bolshevik Party led an armed insurrection against the provisional government and seized power. Lenin played a key role in the planning and execution of the revolution. 4. Establishment of Soviet government. After the revolution, the Bolshevik Party established a Soviet government, led by Lenin as chairman of the Council of People's Commissars. This government was based on the principles of socialist democracy and worker control. 5. Civil War. The establishment of the Soviet government led to a period of intense conflict, known as the Russian Civil War. The Bolsheviks were opposed by a coalition of anti-Bolshevik forces, including monarchists, Democrats, and foreign interventionists. The war lasted from 1918 to 1922 and resulted in the deaths of millions of people. 6. War Communism. During the Civil War, the Soviet government implemented a policy known as war communism, which involved the nationalization of industry, the requisition of grain from peasants, and the establishment of a command economy. This policy was designed to support the war effort but had a significant impact on the Soviet economy and society. Early Soviet government. 1. Establishment of the Red Army. In 1918, Lenin established the Red Army, a professional military force that was dedicated to defending the Soviet government and advancing the cause of socialism. The Red Army played a key role in the victory of the Bolsheviks in the Russian Civil War. 2. Policies towards peasants. Lenin recognized the importance of the peasantry in the Soviet Union and implemented a series of policies designed to improve their lives. These policies included the redistribution of land, the elimination of debt and taxes, and the establishment of agricultural cooperatives. 3. Policies towards workers. Lenin believed that the workers were the backbone of the Soviet economy and implemented a series of policies designed to improve their working conditions and increase their participation in the government. These policies included the establishment of workers' councils, or Soviets, and the implementation of labor protections. 4. Nationalization of industry. The Soviet government under Lenin nationalized large segments of the economy, including industry, transportation, and banking. This policy was designed to eliminate the exploitation of workers and to promote the development of a socialist economy. 5. New economic policy. In 1921, Lenin introduced the New Economic Policy, NEP, which was designed to allow for greater economic freedom and to promote the development of small-scale private enterprise. This policy was seen as a pragmatic response to the economic challenges facing the Soviet Union in the aftermath of the Civil War. 6. Health problems and declining health. Lenin suffered from a series of health problems throughout his life, including migraines, depression, and a series of strokes. His declining health had a significant impact on his ability to govern and eventually led to his retirement from politics in 1923. Later years and legacy. 1. Retirement from politics. Lenin suffered a series of strokes in 1922 and 1923 that left him partially paralyzed and unable to participate in politics. He retired from active political life in 1923 and spent the remainder of his life in seclusion. 2. Death and funeral. Lenin died on January 21, 1924, at the age of 53. His death was mourned by millions of people around the world, and his funeral was attended by thousands of mourners. His body was embalmed and placed on display in a mausoleum on Red Square in Moscow. 3. Leninism. Lenin's ideas and political philosophy became known as Leninism, and they had a significant impact on the development of socialist and communist movements around the world. Leninism emphasized the importance of revolutionary action, the role of the Vanguard Party, and the establishment of a socialist state. 4. Stalin's rise to power. After Lenin's death, a power struggle ensued within the Soviet government. Joseph Stalin eventually emerged as the leader of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union, and he implemented policies that were often at odds with Lenin's vision of socialism. 5. Criticisms of Leninism. Leninism has been criticized by some for its authoritarian tendencies and its emphasis on the use of force to achieve political goals. Critics have also pointed to the failures of socialist governments that have attempted to implement Leninist policies. 6. Legacy. Despite the criticisms of Leninism, Lenin's legacy as a revolutionary and a thinker remains significant. His ideas about the importance of worker control, the elimination of exploitation, and the establishment of a socialist society continue to inspire people around the world who are committed to social justice and equality. Thank you for watching. To access the documents containing the texts used in the videos and also support the channel, subscribe to our Patreon page. The link is below in the description. If you like these videos, remember that you can subscribe or memorize the channel name so you can easily find us the next time you want to watch more videos. Learn English with personal development. Goodbye.